Okay, so if you're watching this, thank you. I just wanted to start off by saying that my husband and I are starting this channel with the hopes of helping whoever we can. Just to let them know that people are out there that can help you and that are going through the same thing that you're going through. And there is hope and there is light at the end of this very long and lonely tunnel. So with the hopes that we can reach just one person, we're so excited to be able to do this for anybody watching. So just wanted to start off with that. And when we got married, we kind of decided that we wanted to wait 2 years before having kiddos, or at least trying to have children. And that was kind of what we had talked about while we were engaged and all of that. So I would say 4 months after we got married, I was having baby fever. I was like, let me just get off birth control. I gotta regulate my body anyways. I don't like the way it makes me feel, which I don't. And let's just see what happens, right? So August comes around, month 5, and we're kind of like not trying, but we're not preventing it. So nothing happens. I was for sure like, maybe I could be pregnant in September. At this point, I think it's 2 months of trying, right? Or just not protecting it, I guess. These terms are just so odd. Because really, what is trying and what isn't trying? Who knows? Anyways, so September comes around, I'm not pregnant. I'm so like thinking, this is kind of odd, right? I feel like it's so easy. Everybody makes it seem like it's so easy to get pregnant. So it's kind of odd that I'm not pregnant, after 2 months. So I'm like, you know what? Let's start, getting OPKs, and let's start doing that. Or I'm telling myself this anyways. And I start testing to make sure I'm ovulating, and when I'm ovulating, let's make sure that, we're baby dancing. And comes October, and I'm like, I know I'm pregnant, for sure I am. And I remember this because we went to the state fair here in Texas, and I remember thinking, I don't want to get any rides if I'm pregnant. And nope, come to find out, I'm not pregnant in October. Comes November, I am like 15 days late, and I'm like, for sure, this is it. I'm pregnant. And I was so excited. I was already like planning my baby shower and how I was going to tell my family. And like, I was like already like sky high, so excited. And 15 days later, here comes my period, and I'm not pregnant. And it was the worst period in my entire life. So that kind of started where I started really noticing like things were happening, with my body that didn't seem normal, because you really don't pay attention to those things until you start trying to have a baby. Before it's just kind of like, there is a fly in my house, possibly 2. If I snatch it out of the sky, I get a quarter. Okay. So anyways, again, you don't really pay attention to the signs your body's giving, until you really start trying to have a baby, because you don't really need to pay attention to them, right? Or at least you don't think you have to. And so comes December, period's late again, high hopes, because, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant again, or in my mind. And nope, just a late period. January, same thing. February, it literally goes like this for a whole year. My body literally is tricking me. My period goes from 5 to 20 days late. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, is it chemical pregnancies? Is it like, what is happening, right? So I'm like, at this point, I'm getting a little concerned. We're trying everything. Like, OPKs. At this point, I'm temping. So I've got my thermometer. I'm temping my basal body temperature and making sure I am ovulating when the OPK say I'm ovulating. At one point, I had a positive OPK for 2 weeks, and I was like, what is happening? So a year goes by and nothing, right? And I'm like, you know what? This is normal, I think. I don't really know. I mean, I hear a healthy couple, it takes 6 to 8 months. So everybody's telling me, just wait, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. And, you know, it's just not your time yet. And it's going to happen when it's meant to happen. And so you start to feel bad for not being patient. But in my gut, I knew that there was just something that was not right. But I just kept telling myself, it's just not the right time yet. It'll happen when it's supposed to happen, like everybody was telling me. So at this point, I'm at a year, and I'm telling my husband, like, something isn't right. You know, what are we doing wrong? Like, we tried everything. I'm telling you, OPKs and pregnancy tests became just a monthly expense at this point, because it was like I would consider it a bill, and I was taking prenatals for fun because I was for sure I was doing everything right. I was checking all the signs. I was OPK. I was temping. I was doing everything, and we couldn't get any answers. And so, again, reaching that year point, I was like, I have to go to the doctor. Something isn't right. At this point, my period was almost a month late. I had heard stories of a lot of women never getting a positive at an at-home pregnancy test. So I was like, maybe I have to go to the doctor. And while I'm there, let's go ahead and see why, you know, like what's going on basically. Like, why am I having, because at this point I was noticing a lot of symptoms that my body was having. My ovaries were swelling up extremely large. My periods were extremely heavy. They were lasting 7 days, full blown, no break, so weak. Like, they were really bad. Like, there was just a lot of stuff happening that I was like, maybe I have endometriosis. Like, I was just trying to pull anything out of the sky that I could think of that could help me solve this issue as to why I wasn't having a child. So I go to this doctor, and negative pregnancy test. They did a blood and urine test, and they were negative. And my doctor's just like, let's just put you on birth control. Let's just control your cycles. And I'm like, no. I want to know why I'm not getting pregnant. You know, I'm doing my OPKs. There's no way I'm missing it, basically. The way we were trying to get pregnant was like we were all over the place, right? Like, calendar-wise. Like, we were doing every other day. Nothing was working. And it was just so frustrating. I was so frustrated at this point. And I feel so stupid getting emotional about it. At that point, only trying a year. Like, I felt dumb. I felt ungrateful. I felt like nobody understood what I was feeling. It's like I was screaming out that I had an issue and I was feeling a certain way, and nobody wanted to listen to me. And I remember even my doctor previous doctor telling me, well, some women try up to 6 years. I was shocked. I was like, I understand that. And I'm not trying to complain that I've been trying at this point a year. I just want to figure out what's wrong. So at this point, I'm like begging, like, do something. She's like, well, let's just do a laparoscopy, I believe that is. And while you're in there, we'll do an HSG test. I think I'm saying that correctly. It's not HCG, it's HSG. That's where they check if your fallopian tubes are open. And she's like, well, while you're under, we'll go ahead and check to make sure everything's open. We'll check for endometriosis. And at that time also, they had found some cysts that were growing on my left ovary. And without giving you all of my medical history because it's so much, I have had a tendency of getting cysts. And since I was young. And I told my doctor this, and she's like, well, it's normal. Your body's supposed to create those cysts. Okay. So a month later, I go in for the surgery, and I come out of the surgery, and she's like, oh, everything was good. Your tubes were open. There was no endometriosis. Your cyst is gone. Have a nice day. Is basically how it went. She's like, I bet you within the next 1 or 2 months, you'll probably get pregnant, because most people do, because it kind of helps, like, get everything moving down there. So I was like betting in the next 1 to 2 months I was going to be pregnant. Well, surgery was in May. June comes around, not pregnant. July, not pregnant. August, not pregnant. September, not pregnant. And I remember June and September, and all the way to even the Novembers, were difficult for me because every month I thought I was pregnant. And I wanted to surprise my dad for his birthday or Father's Day that I was pregnant. So I would like scheme up this whole idea of how I was going to tell him I was pregnant. And every year it never worked, right? The 2 years. So at this point, you know, we're approaching the end of 2018. And I'm like, we have to do something. Something isn't right. We need to go to the doctor. So I searched high and low for a specialist, and I finally found one, and we're going to get answers. So I was excited to go. We made our appointment. We went. And I finally got my answers. And I'll talk about those later on with my husband. So it's just so frustrating. And I guess this kind of turned into a whole rant. But I think a lot of the time that's how a lot of us feel. There's just so much bombarding your bubble. There's testing. There's doctors. There's money. There's disappointment. There's hurt. There's frustration. There's anger. There's just so much coming into your little world, and it's just very overwhelming. And it's so lonely. Although I have a loving husband and a supportive family, it's still so lonely. As a woman, it's super hard. And I remember all the mornings and nights when I would test, and even when I knew I got a negative, I would do it again, and I would do it again, and I would do it again until my period started. It could be 15, 20 days in a row. I would just keep testing, hopefully that I would get a positive. I know we've all been there. We get our flashlight on our phone and we like put the flashlight up to the back of the pregnancy test, praying that we see a line, putting it up to the window, taking pictures of it, changing the contrast, black and white, just trying everything we can just to create some type of line on this test. It's a hard journey. It's a long journey. It's an emotional journey. But we're not alone. I'm not alone. There's so many people out there that are dealing with the same thing that we are. That you are. There's going to be many nights where we're crying on the bathroom floor. Or many nights where you're pinning on Pinterest your baby shower ideas. But you'll have to put it off for next month. Or the next month. Or 2 years later. 5 years later. Thank you for listening to my spiel of words. We've got this. We do.